Ladies and gentlemen.
Roll the camera. Okay.
Kia ora. Welcome to Sunrise on Greytown. I'm Ingrid Gerritsen.
And I'm Mac Rignold. In today's stories, a new crime wave is sweeping the country in the form of woolen graffiti. Scientists have invented an invisibility cloak. We helped them find it. The latest on the weather around the country. But first, a story that will turn your world upside down.
If you think the world is getting more and more topsy-turvy, it turns out you're right. Builders in Germany have built an upside-down house. Before you think they may have read the plans upside down, they did it on purpose. The WakeUpNZ was built as a tourist attraction as well as being a comment on the state of the world. The house is 23 feet tall and rests on its roof and has steel beams in the attic. Inside the house, there are beds screwed to the ceiling, upside-down wardrobes, an upside-down kitchen, and even an upturned bathroom. Though it's not as if known if someone has tried to bathe in it or go to the toilet. Normally, a house like this would take 3 weeks to build. This one took over 4 months because workers kept getting confused by the strange angles of the walls. Many tourists visiting the house complain of feeling sick and dizzy just after a few minutes inside. We now cross over to our reporter, Isabella, who is outside the house. How are you feeling, Isabella?
Thanks, Ingrid. I'm here with the owner of the house, Kayla, and I'm feeling great. So what made you think of this upside-down house?
Well, as you can see, lately I've been wearing my clothes back to front, and I'm about to build a new house, and I asked the builders to build it upside down, just for a change in the town.
So what comment do you feel the house makes about the state of the world?
Well, actually, I think the future.
Well, what are some of the challenges in living in a house where everything's upside down?
Well, bed and breakfast is the hardest, and especially the fish. When the house is upside down, I'm constantly changing the water and putting them back in the fish tank and strapping myself and everything, and yeah, it's hard but fun.
Oh, so it must be very hard going to the toilet.
Oh, that's the hardest of them all, obviously. Strap myself in, wash my hands, water goes everywhere. That's again, it's fun, but the hardest of them all, yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us today. I'm Isabella from this Sunrise on Greytown. Back to you, Ingrid, in the studio.
Even watching that makes me feel like vomiting. And now for a story that is truly out of sight. Look out, Harry Potter. The world of science is catching up to the world of magic. Science in Europe have created a 3D invisibility cloak which can hide objects by behind light waves. It has been found that light can be controlled using special tiny crystals that makes objects disappear. So far, scientists have made small objects such as coins disappear, but hope that it won't be long before they are hiding cars, planets, even people. People have always dreamed of making themselves invisible. However, science inventing the invisibility cloak, the scientists have been having trouble finding it. As soon as they put down something, it just disappears. The inventor of the cloak said it appears that they are having trouble finding other things too, like their lunch, which they think may be hiding underneath the cloak. What will this invention actually be used for? Hoping to see through the reasons behind the invisibility cloak. Here is our on the sport report. Sophie with more on the story.
Hello, I'm Sophie Simpson, and I'm supposed to be meeting someone here. Oh my god. Anyway, this is Sophia Nunn-Smith, and she's one of the scientists behind the invisibility cloak. Hi Sophia, thanks for coming today. What made you think to invent the invisibility cloak?
Well, I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter, and I was thinking maybe I should invent an invisible cloak. It'd be very interesting, and it'd be very easy to rob the bank.
Okay, could you please show me what it can do? Oh my god, can you please Thanks, that was that was amazing. Okay. What do you hope to use the cloak for?
Stealing money from the bank.
Okay. And what do you hope to use it for in the future?
Well, I don't need to use it. It can be a display, because I've already got the money, of course.
Thank you, Sophia. Well, that makes everything clear, and thanks for joining us. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Sophie. And now, how's this for an interesting yarn? A new wave of graffiti crime is covering the country thanks to an underground gang known as the Midnight Knitters. These wool-waving criminals are covering tree branches and lampposts with small jerseys and scarves underneath the cover of darkness. Police say the knitted activities of the gang are illegal because their woolly crimes have been done on public property without permission. The popularity of woolen graffiti is growing, and more public objects are being wrapped up at night. But the problem is growing, police say, and warn that if the Midnight Knitters aren't caught soon, every tree, lamppost and traffic light will be covered with in the country will be warmly dressed against the cold. The problem is spinning out of control. The close-knit group of dyed-in-the-wool criminals. We are stitching together a case, but it's not seamless. There is no real pattern to the crime, a police spokesman said today. So far, the criminal knitters have escaped arrest and continue to pull the wool over the eyes of both the public and police. We are now to a secret location with our investigate reporter Alicia, who has an exclusive interview with one of the Midnight Knitters gang.
Thanks, Ingrid. I'm Alicia, and joining me in this top secret location is a member of the Midnight Knitters gang. Hello, Jonty, and thanks for joining us. So what led you into the dark underworld of Midnight Knitters?
Well, ever since I was a kid, I really liked looking at graffiti all over walls and houses. I know it's not what I did. So anyways, my nan taught me to knit, and I really like knitting, so why not combine the two?
Very interesting idea indeed. So do you see yourself as a criminal? Why and why not?
No, because it's not illegal, and yeah.
I'll have to get back to you for that one. Apart from trees, lampposts and traffic lights, what else would you like to graffiti with your woolens?
A cow.
You're joking, right?
No.
Right. Anyway, what is your favorite fruit? What is your favorite food and why?
Well, Considering I'm a vegetarian and lactose intolerant, it would probably have to be lamb chops with cheese sauce.
Very interesting dish. Thanks for your time, Jonty. Thanks for your time, Jonty of Midnight Knitters Gang of the Midnight Knitters Gang. We now go over to Heidi and Eleanor for the weather update.
Thank you, Alicia, and good evening, New Zealand. Let's have a look at tomorrow's weather, starting in the far north in Kaitea. Look out for some pretty flash flooding and raindrops as big as your head. If you're going outside, wear a hat. Moving down to Auckland, there'll be a mix of fair conditions and unfair conditions, but those are the conditions and you'll just have to accept them. There'll be no weather at all for the Bay of Plenty. It's taking a short holiday, but it's expected to be back for the weekend in Napier and Hastings. The weather will sometimes be changeable and sometimes not. We have really no idea what will happen there. In Taranaki region, a mild depression brings with it a very dull day. With no highlights at all, it'll be an overcast and a gloomy morning, but things should be fine and cheer up by the evening. So don't worry, everything will be fine. Wellington will have another capital day. There will be no wind at all, and the day conditions will be so pleasant they'll actually be extreme. In the top South Island, Kaikoura can expect to have a good day, meeting friends for lunch, going for a swim and reading the newspapers. But try to stay indoors as the weather will be just terrible. A real mix for Christchurch, which will have some unreasonable rainfall and some sensible wind, moderate thunderstorms and some very angry snow. And in the lower South Dunedin will be frosty, cold and unfriendly until late morning when the sun will pop over for a visit. Everybody likes the sun. That's all from us. Remember, if it's raining outside, that's the weather for you. Good night, New Zealand. Now back to the news desk with Ingrid and Mac.
And Heidi. Well, that's all we have time for. We hope you have enjoyed this evening's broadcast.
Thank you all for watching. We'll all see you again next time. Until then,
I'm Ingrid Gerritsen.
And I'm Mac Rignall.
For New Greytown Sunrise. Goodbye, e nohora.
Ladies and gentlemen,
roll the camera. Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are featuring an interview with a very peculiar-looking gentleman.
Scene one, take one. Scene one, take two. Take two.